What's going on, buddy? It's Jeff here. Welcome back to the channel. All right, guys, the big question is Adam Aron continuing to dump APE shares on the market, especially after it popped over $2, now sitting at about $1.40. We're going to go over a couple different things. In the last video I made regarding AMC and APE, I had explained the reasoning behind why you saw the price of APE starting to rise and why you saw AMC starting to fall. Okay, obviously that momentum to the upside with APE, as you can see right here, it would not continue to sustain. All right, just moving well over 200% from when it was sitting on that 65-70 cents all the way up to 230 would probably cool off a little bit. Now it's sitting at about $1.40, down about 40% from the high. I want to talk a little bit about the speculation behind this. Is Adam Aron dumping more shares? Okay, when you look over at the price of AMC, it's continued to pull down, obviously, once it got the rumors of the reverse split and also the conversion, but it hasn't really spiked. It's just sitting around that $4. Meanwhile, APE has, sold off a little bit. It hasn't gone all the way back down. A couple things I want to cover. First off is this tweet that came out just 10 hours ago from Adam Aron stating, okay, him being the CEO for 7 years and that, his stock sales ended a year ago and he will not sell anymore anytime soon. I ride with you. This is strictly referring to his personal shares that he owns in AMC and in APE, not what is available from APE to be dumped on the open market. So I want to bring up a little bit of speculation here, as I do believe, and we will find out, okay, down the road, whether Adam Aron is dumping more shares of APE. And I think he actually has, and I'm gonna uncover a little bit why. So if you look at some of the latest SEC filings, there were a bunch of 8Ks that obviously had come out Monday the 19th, the 21st, the 22nd, and the 29th. The 29th isn't anything important when it comes to stock sales. This talks about the redistribution of just the directors and their board members and so forth, but doesn't have to do with anything when it talks to the filings. However, when you look at the filing that came out December 22nd, this was released at 8:42. It was publicized on Seeking Alpha. It's probably released a little bit more than earlier than that. It goes into the details behind the definitive agreement when it comes to, okay, the APE shares being sold on the market, what they're going to be getting. It talks about an aggregated purchase price of $75 million. All right, that's the forward purchase of APEs. All right, and the simultaneously purchase from the investor on a private basis, which is $100 million aggregate principal amount of the company's second lien notes. Big thing that stuck out to me was this right here. Okay, it talks about the company's ATM program. The sale of the initial APEs was made subject to closing, okay, all the way back on September 26th. Okay, by the time that all the paperwork went in, okay, who they were going to be able to find a company to be able to hold the sale of this, all right, and lead the sale of this and so forth. This is when it finally all came down to 60 cents, 66 cents per share. And here we are, 3 months later. So I decided to just do a little bit of digging, all right? And if you zoom out to this chart, and we're gonna go all the way back to the 26th, which is right here. I know obviously it's a little bit hard to see on this. I'll zoom in a little bit for you guys. Okay, you can see that this is the 26th as of right here. There's a massive volume spike on that day. Okay, and it goes all the way back to the second, which obviously there was a huge selling pressure, begin to pull down. The initial release of APE had a lot of volume, which is pretty similar to how a normal IPO would play out. A lot of volume, once the attention, the hype, the craze around it, it kind of slowly fades. Though this was obviously different than a general IPO. Then that leads us to that date of the 26th, where it was like I said, a huge spike in volume, kind of like a slow, steady fade. So when you zoom out a little bit, as you can see from the 26th, it was just a slow fade all the way down from the $4 to the low of $1.50. Okay, so while we didn't know, us as retail, okay, or without really diving deep into some of these files, it wasn't readily, openly, easily available to us. The sale was already being planned. Okay, and by looking at the stock, volume fades off, just nonstop selling. obviously larger funds already know exactly what is happening. So when you zoom in a little bit and let me, you compare that to what exactly happened here. And I said, once this spike happens, anything that moves 233%, okay, there are obviously people that caught this, caught the ride, caught the dip back down to, a dollar, riding that up over 100% in just a couple days. There's going to be profit taking, okay, especially any, professional stock traders, institutions that picked up on this, whatever it may be, the hype around it just slowly fades away. Obviously, I had said that there's going to be a little bit of sell off because it's not a guaranteed conversion. All right, and if that conversion is denied, then obviously this would just immediately sell off, because they're not, the incentive behind this was to be able to own AMC, which is trading out, let's say, around $4.50. You're potentially purchasing that at somewhere around that $1.80 to $2 price range. And like I said, that deal and perception would completely go away if it was denied. But to see this sell off kind of running through this, and what I'm going to be paying attention to closely over probably the next few weeks is where this price lies and what information eventually does come out. Because if more shares were sold coming to APE, there's a couple of things that are going to be happening for us when it comes to the structure of the company. Okay, reducing some of their balance sheet. All right, reducing the amount being spent on interest is positive for the long term for the company. This constant dilution of stock, the potential of a reverse split, and even though you have two separate entities of AMC and APE, it really gets valued under one sole entity, and you're continuing to dilute it. What is the long-term effect going to be on this, right? How would they be able to rein in from this? Like I said, over the next few weeks, a lot of information that is released and just how the stock plays out, especially what we hear behind on this vote. There already is a little bit of speculation, okay, and hearsay of, is there even going to be a vote, right? Adam Aaron tried this about a year and a half ago now, and shot it down pretty quickly as he saw retail investors were not behind this. What does he have up his sleeve? How many shares of APE, which does obviously have voting power, okay, even though it's different, and how many of the Class A common stock of AMC, what gets held under institutions, who's going to be able to approve that, where do those things lie, is he going to take it off the table, was this a ploy literally just to get this to pop over, back up over to where the price it was sitting at, especially over $1, to be able to sell more shares. This is all going to get released in the upcoming days, so just pay attention to this. I want to get ahead of this. Obviously, a part of this is actually the whole basis of his video is very early, basing off of what I've seen from the past. Okay, how this 8K reads going all the way back to September 26th, comparing the volume, all right, and comparing the chart to what might play out over the next couple of weeks. So guys, that is it for this video. I'll see you in the next one.